This is topic C on page 111, Managing Meeting Responses. Organizing and managing meetings entails more than scheduling a time and sending invites. When attendees respond to your invite, Outlook automatically sends you an email. It's safe to say that if you schedule frequent meetings or send requests to many people, it will be challenging to handle all the reply emails. So the question arises, how do you handle automatic meeting responses when you send out meeting invites at work? Fortunately, Outlook provides you with the option to turn off request responses. However, if you need a less severe solution, you can set up a rule to manage responses. If you organize frequent meetings or meetings for large numbers of people, you'll receive, in most cases, an email reply from each person that you invited. Meeting reply emails can take up a lot of valuable space in your inbox and make it difficult to organize messages. Outlook enables you to turn off meeting responses in the attendees command group of your meeting request. So if I was to create a new meeting in my attendees command group, my response options drop down, I can uncheck request responses. So if people accept, great. If they deny, that's fine too. I will not get a separate email message for each of these. The downside of those is downside of using that option is you will not be able to track, again, who's coming and who's not. So you won't be able to see. It's just a matter of who shows up or not. And that's an okay option if, let's say, if your invitee's presence is not required. So, like I said, it's okay if you show up, it's okay if you don't, but if they're required to show up, you definitely want to see if they will be accepting that invitation. But again, that's on your meeting tab of your meeting form, attendees command group, response options drop down, and you can uncheck request responses. Now, for your meeting response management, for most workplace meetings you organize, you'll want attendees to respond to your meeting requests. However, there are times when it doesn't make logical sense to receive them. If organizing a large open event in which you've invited hundreds of people, it would be impractical to wade through responses. Outlook provides the option to turn off request responses, again, like I just showed you in the attendees command group. However, again, you will not be able to track these responses. We can create a rule that doesn't turn them off, but just moves them to a specified folder, or they can go right to the deleted items folder as well. So I'm going to create a meeting here, and I'm going to invite Maureen. I'm going to call this meeting response rule example. And we'll just keep it as 27th, 8 a.m. Actually, we'll make this the 28th, 8 a.m. to 8:30, and I'll go ahead and send that out to Maureen. Now let's just pretend, for example purposes, that I'm sending that meeting invitation out to 50 people. Now, every time someone responds, I'm going to get such so-and-so accepted this, so-and-so denied this. So I'm going to have 50 separate email messages just for the responses of that one meeting. Now you can see how quickly that would clutter up your inbox. So we can actually create a rule to move all those responses to a specific location in your mail workspace, a specific folder. You can even go to your deleted items. Now, to do this, I would go up to the Home tab on my ribbon, my Rules drop down, Manage Rules and Alerts, and I'm going to select New Rule from here. Now, the template that I want to use is the Start from a Blank rule at the bottom, and I'm going to apply this rule on messages that I receive. I'm going to click Next to move through my wizard, and this is the most important part. For meeting responses, you want to use the checkbox. The checkbox uses the form name form. Check that off, And remember, at the bottom of your rules, you need to specify. So this opens up a Choose Forms dialog box. And from this drop-down, you want your application forms. So you can choose which responses you're going to be performing this rule on. So your accept meeting responses, you want to add this. Decline meeting responses, add that. Let's see if there's tentative, possibly, yeah. Tentative meeting response, we'll add that. So those three. So if anyone replies to that meeting request, it will be one of these three. I'm going to click close and it updates my rule there. And I want to move next to the next window of my wizard. Well, what do you want to do with these messages? I want to move them to a specified folder. So I want to check off that first option. And then remember, we need to choose which folder. So I need to click on the blue underlined word in step number 2. And where do you want to move those? You could create a new folder if you wanted to, called, meeting responses. You'll actually do that in the next activity. I don't even want to keep them. I can send them straight to my deleted items folder and click OK. You can see it updates there. I'm going to click next and it's going to ask you if there's any exceptions. So you can check off if there is an exception there. I'm going to keep it as is and click next. You're going to name this rule. I'll call it meeting response rule. I can run this rule now on messages already in the inbox. I can turn on the rule now. You want to double check that it looks correct and click finish from here. I'm going to click OK. Now you can see all of those accepted responses, all declined, all tentative, they're going to automatically be thrown into my deleted items folder. Now, I'm going to flip over to Maureen's workspace here, and I just sent her a meeting invitation, meeting response rule example, and I'm going to go ahead and let's decline this. I'm going to decline and send the response now. Now remember, automatically I would get an inbox message saying that Maureen declined that. Did I? No, I didn't. But if I go into my deleted items folder, scroll up to the more recent, it automatically bypassed my inbox, went directly to my deleted items folder. Now, you're probably thinking, well, if you're going to send them to your deleted items folder anyway, why don't you just turn the responses off so you don't get them at all? And there's a reason for that. If I go into my sent folder and I take a look at that meeting response rule example that I just sent to Maureen, I'm going to double click this to open up the meeting request. And there should be a tracking option. Sometimes it has a little issue showing up here. Of course, now it doesn't want to show up for me. Son of a gun. When you send out a meeting, you should automatically have the option to track who declined and who accepted. And it's not going to want to show up for me. It should show up on your meeting tab in your respond section, I believe. It's not going to want to work for me though. Let's see. Should come up with a show group. Let me see. Maybe if I try to open it up through my calendar view. When did I set that for? Tomorrow. Here we go. So if I actually not go through my sent messages and open up that way, but actually go into my calendar and open up the meeting form, you can see 8 a.m. meeting response rule example. Of course, it's going to be on my calendar because I'm the organizer. So if I double click to open up that meeting, on my meeting tab in my show command group, here I have a tracking option, and I can view the tracking status. It will list all of the invitees and whether they declined, accepted, or tentatively accepted, so on and so forth, but it will have their response listed here. That's why, even though I'm having a rule set up to automatically send them to the deleted items folder, I can still track their responses here in one single spot instead of reading all of those emails and tracking myself. If I had turned the response option off that I initially showed you in this lesson, this tracking option is not available to you. So again, you would not be able to see who accepted or who declined. All right, so you can still get rid of those messages and send them to the deleted items folder, but still track who's coming and who's not. Your next video will be activity 5.3 on page 113.